The Philadelphia Eagles are off to a blazing start in the 2025 NFL season. And if you're a fan of drama, high-stakes football, and gritty wins, there's no better team to follow right now. Week after week, this team has been tested. And week after week, they found a way to rise. Whether it's a dominant first half, a clutch defensive stand, or pure resilience under sweltering heat, the Birds are proving one thing. They've got championship DNA, even if they haven't fully hit their stride yet. Opening night, Thursday, September 4th, against the hated Cowboys. Right off the bat, the Eagles showed they weren't here to ease into the season. It was a back-and-forth battle, came down to the final moments, but Philly held strong and edged out Dallas by 24-20. A rivalry win to start the season? That's the kind of energy that sets the tone early. Then came Week 2, the Super Bowl 59 rematch against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Now, everyone had this one circled on the calendar. Could the Birds prove they weren't just a flash in the pan last postseason? Not only did they prove it, they stomped it into the ground. Philadelphia marched into one of the toughest stadiums in football and walked out with a commanding 20-7 win. That was a statement. The defense suffocated Mahomes. The offense did just enough. And most importantly, the Eagles walked out of Arrowhead undefeated. Week 3, things got even crazier. Down big early to the Rams at home, it looked like the Birds were about to get humbled. But then came the rally, 26 unanswered points. And how did it end? A walk-off blocked field goal, Jordan Davis rumbling down the field for a touchdown that sent the Link into pure chaos. That's not just a win. That's a moment. That's the kind of game that sticks in your memory for the rest of the season. That's Eagles football. Now let's talk about what happened yesterday, because it was one of the most bizarre yet gutsy performances we've seen from this team in a while. The first half against the Buccaneers? Flawless. Near-perfect execution. The offense was humming. Special teams made a huge play early. The defense held Tampa Bay in check. But just like that, everything shifted. The heat was brutal. Over 100 degrees on the field. Momentum flipped, and suddenly, Tampa started clawing back into the game. But this Eagles squad refused to fold. Even when things got messy, even when the gas tank was empty, they dug deep and held on for a 31-25 win. Barely, but they did it. And look around the league right now. Only 2 teams remain undefeated, the Eagles and the Bills. 4-0. Both looking like legitimate Super Bowl contenders. In the NFC East, Philly already has some breathing room. Washington is sitting at 2-2. Dallas, after a wild Sunday night football tie with Green Bay, is 1-2-1. And the Giants? They finally got their first win behind rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, knocking off an undefeated Chargers squad. But they're still just 1-3. So yeah, this division still runs through Philadelphia. Now, are the wins pretty? Not always. But are they quality? Absolutely. Let's run through the resume. You beat the Cowboys. That's always a big deal. Then the Chiefs, one of the most complete teams in the NFL. Then the Rams, a playoff-level roster. And now the Buccaneers, who have a top 10 quarterback in Baker Mayfield and play tough, physical football. These aren't cupcake matchups. These are teams expected to contend, and Philly is 4-0 against them. That matters. And you know who's been an unsung hero in all of this? Special teams. Michael Clay's unit has been elite to start the season. You open the game with a blocked punt? That's tone setting. Cam Latu, a guy who was considered a bust just a few months ago, now making impact plays on special teams. Sidney Brown scoops and scores it for a 30-yard touchdown. That's how you flip games before the offense even touches the field. Offensively, in the first half against the Bucs, the Eagles were electric. Jalen Hurts was surgical. He completed 15 of 16 passes before halftime, a career-high completion rate for any half. The creativity in play design was top tier. Quads right formation, underhand pitches, shovel passes to Dallas Goedert. Misdirection, timing, execution, all elite. Hurts was making plays with his legs too, dusting defenders in the open field. That one sprint past Vita Vea? Yeah, that was personal. Hurts is showing MVP flashes again, just like he did late against the Rams. Dallas Goedert continues to be the X factor. Whether it's blocking, stretching the field, or making defenders miss after the catch. His value can't be overstated. And when he's getting involved early in the red zone like he did this past week, that opens everything up. And this play calling, especially early in games, is working. Kevin Patullo has found some rhythm when he's aggressive. But that aggression has to last 4 quarters. Because here's the problem. This offense has no consistent identity. That's what's frustrating. In the first halves, they're dangerous. In second halves, they become conservative, predictable, and painfully vanilla. Against Tampa, Hurts didn't complete a single pass after halftime. 0 for 7. That's unacceptable with the kind of weapons this team has. And this has become a trend. You build a lead and then take your foot off the gas. That's not going to fly against playoff teams. That's not sustainable in January. The defensive side of the ball? Look, it's not perfect. They gave up touchdowns of 72 and 77 yards. That's brutal. Explosive plays have been a recurring issue. It happened against Dallas, against the Chiefs, against the Rams, and now against Tampa Bay. It needs to get cleaned up, but there are stars emerging. Quinyon Mitchell? He was ridiculous. 4 pass breakups through 3 quarters, sticky coverage, traveling with wideouts. He looked like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate out there. That's not an exaggeration. That's the kind of cornerback performance that wins you games. Jahad Campbell had an up-and-down game, sure. Gave up a long touchdown. But the man forced a fumble that led to a push-trick play touchdown. Then he picked off Baker Mayfield in the red zone. That's huge. Rookie mistakes? Expected. But when you bounce back from them in real time, that says a lot about your mental toughness. Zach Bond even said after the game, most rookies would fold after giving up a 70-yard touchdown. Campbell didn't. He kept playing hard. And let's talk about that push trickery. Everyone says the play should be banned. But when you're drawing up counters off of it, like handing it off to Saquon Barkley for a walk-in score, it's creative. It forces defenses to think twice. They stack the line to stop the sneak, and now you're pitching it wide to one of the best open field runners in the game. That's brilliant football. That's how you stay ahead of the curve. This team has championship traits. No question about it. The talent is there. The mental toughness is there. The results are there. But the execution over 4 full quarters? Still not consistent. Still not what it needs to be if you want to lift the Lombardi in February. There's a reason fans are frustrated. The Eagles have all the tools, but they haven't put together a complete game yet. The numbers don't lie. Through 4 games, they're the first team in NFL history to go 4-0 while averaging fewer than 260 yards of offense and 4.2 yards per play. That's mind-blowing. This offense is either ice-cold or red-hot. There's no in-between. When they're clicking, they look unstoppable. When they're out of sync, it's hard to watch. And with the amount of talent they have, from Jalen Hurts to Saquon to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, that inconsistency is frustrating. Because we've seen what they're capable of when it all comes together. But right now, that full, dominant 60-minute performance still hasn't happened. And with the next stretch of games coming up, Broncos, Giants, Vikings, it's time to clean it up. This is the moment where you establish your identity, where you sharpen the offense, where you get hot. Because everyone remembers how 2023 ended. The Eagles started 10-1 and then collapsed. Lost 6 of their last 7. Got embarrassed in the playoffs. That can't happen again. While the Eagles are standing tall at 4 wins and 0 losses, the elephant in the room remains the offense. Because despite the record, despite the elite talent, and despite some big-time plays in key moments, this group hasn't delivered a full game yet. Jalen Hurts is leading the huddle. But even with his flashes of MVP-level brilliance, the inconsistency from drive to drive, half to half, is hard to ignore. And at the center of that frustration is wide receiver A.J. Brown. Let's be honest, you can feel his tension through the screen. After the win against the Buccaneers, instead of celebrating what should have been a big-time team victory, all the attention shifted to a cryptic tweet A.J. sent out. A message that read more like a goodbye than a reflection. Something along the lines of, if you're not welcomed or listened to, quietly walk away. No context, no explanation, but it hit like a punch to the gut. Because in Philly, those kinds of tweets don't go unnoticed. This city breathes football. It dissects every quote, every emoji, every shrug on the sideline. And when your star receiver drops something like that after a win, it creates a wave. Now, what does it mean exactly? Is it a shot at the coaching staff? A shot at Kevin Patullo for the play calling? Is he pointing the finger at Nick Sirianni? Or, worst case scenario, is he losing faith in Jalen Hurts? Truthfully, it's probably not about Hurts. Their chemistry is too strong. Their respect for each other runs deep. But the frustration from AJ is real. And if you've been watching these games closely, you understand where he's coming from. Week 1, 1 catch, 1 target, 8 yards. For a top 3 wideout in the league, that's an insult. Week 2, against the Chiefs, he saw more action. 8 targets, but only 5 catches for 27 yards. Still no touchdown. That's not production. That's padding a stat sheet with checkdowns. Week 3, finally he popped off. 10 targets, over 100 yards, and a score. But even then, most of that came in one half. Then against the Bucs, 9 targets. Only 2 catches. Just 7 total yards. That's unacceptable. You cannot have a player of A.J. Brown's caliber walking off the field week after week wondering if he's even part of the game plan. And it's not just about touches. It's about the feel, the flow, the rhythm. Too often this offense looks stuck. Plays feel slow to develop. Routes are too predictable. There's a lack of creativity when it matters most. And A.J. sees that. He's not just a diva wideout throwing a tantrum because he wants the ball. He's a competitor, a leader, and he knows the Eagles won't win a Super Bowl if the passing attack continues to underwhelm. And the truth is, when he speaks up, even in subtle ways, it has impact. Last season, after a rough stretch, he made noise. The following game, he exploded against the Steelers. The offense opened up. He and Hurts linked up for highlight after highlight. Sometimes the star has to speak for the rest of the locker room. Sometimes pressure from within can push everyone to level up. But timing matters. And for AJ to drop that kind of message after a tough, gritty win on the road in over 100 degrees of heat, it just doesn't sit right. It takes the focus off a resilient team performance and puts it squarely on one player's feelings. Football is the ultimate team sport. You win as a group, you lose as a group. And when someone goes solo in the post-game spotlight, especially someone as influential as A.J. Brown, it creates distractions. It creates noise. It puts pressure on Sirianni, on Hurts, and on the locker room to address something that didn't have to become a headline. And look, he's not wrong. The offense does need to improve. Kevin Patullo has shown flashes of innovation. The first half against Tampa Bay, beautiful. That shovel pass to Goddard, the underhand pitches, the tempo, it was fun to watch. The second half, not so much. Predictable runs, short throws, 3 and outs. Hurts didn't complete a pass after halftime. 0 completions. That's staggering. And it's not like this is new. This has been the story through the first month. One half looks like the best offense in the league. The other half looks like a unit trying not to lose. And that's the problem. The Eagles play scared with a lead. They stop being aggressive. They stop being creative. They stop playing to win and start playing to protect. That's not how championships are won. You have to close games the way you start them, with fire, with urgency, and with a plan. Another concern? The run game. Saquon Barkley was supposed to transform this offense into a ground-and-pound machine. But the run blocking hasn't been consistent. The offensive line, while solid, hasn't been dominant. And Saquon, even with his elite vision and burst, hasn't been unleashed. This team has too many weapons to be averaging just over 4 yards per play. That's a stat that doesn't lie. It means something's broken. Something's out of sync. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing after comments made by the Kansas City Chiefs head coach this week, and Eagles fans are not happy. During a press conference following a routine practice session, the Chiefs coach reportedly took a jab at Philadelphia's franchise, calling their recent performances overrated and suggesting that the Eagles haven't faced a team like us in years. While such rhetoric isn't entirely uncommon in the heat of NFL rivalry, The comments quickly ignited a firestorm online, with social media erupting in anger and disbelief. Fans of the Eagles were quick to respond, flooding comment sections with criticism and even creating memes targeting the Chiefs camp. Some even accused the coach of trying to psych out the team with disrespectful talk, a tactic that could either backfire or rally his players, depending on whom you ask. Analysts are divided. Some see it as classic mind games, designed to get under the skin of the opposition and generate media buzz. Others, however, warn that crossing the line into outright disrespect could motivate Philadelphia in ways Kansas City may not anticipate. Inside sources hint that this might not be the end of the verbal sparring. Rumors suggest that Chiefs players were briefed on the impact of the coach's comments and encouraged to keep the chatter going on social media and in interviews. Meanwhile, Eagles insiders reportedly see it as fuel for the fire, with key players allegedly planning to respond not with words, but with action on the field. The anticipation for their upcoming matchup has already reached fever pitch, with ticket sales and viewership forecasts spiking in response to the drama. Sports bars in Philadelphia and Kansas City are expected to be packed, not just for the game itself, but to witness how this brewing tension will play out. Whether the Chiefs coach's remarks prove to be a clever psychological strategy or a misstep that motivates the Eagles remains to be seen. One thing is certain. NFL fans across the country are talking, tweeting, and betting, and the rivalry between these two storied franchises just got a whole lot hotter. As of now, both teams are remaining tight-lipped about the situation, with official statements emphasizing respect and sportsmanship. But in the world of professional football, actions often speak louder than words. And with this latest spark, it seems the stage is set for a showdown full of intensity, emotion, and maybe even a little revenge. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.